If you're looking for a super easy beginner-friendly sewing project, just keep watching this video and I'm going to show you how to make a 3-tiered maxi skirt. Hi, my name is Stephanie. I'm a beginner sewist who has been taking you along the journey of me trying out new patterns. And today I'm going to be showing you guys one of the easiest patterns to do as a beginner. And this was actually, I think, the first project that I did when I got back into sewing about a year ago. I'm sure you've seen many of these tutorials online, and it is how to make a 3-tiered gathered maxi skirt. There's a reason why there's tutorials for this everywhere. It's because it's really easy. So all you need are your body measurements for your measurement and the length of the skirt. I feel like this is a super accessible pattern for everybody to do because you don't actually need to purchase a pattern. All you need is a sewing machine and some fabric. I love to thrift my fabric, and I also love to buy fabric from the store, don't get me wrong. But as a beginner, I like to always check out the thrift stores to see if there's anything that I can use to try out a new project for, or something that I actually see myself wearing. And I was super lucky when I found this fabric in the thrift store. I'm going to be making the skirt out of a beautiful embroidered cotton that I thrifted. So it's just like a really pretty off-white color, and it has this embroidered cotton detailing on it. It's very lightweight and it's a little bit sheer. So I'm going to be doing a lining fabric on the top tier of the skirt. I thrifted this for, I believe, $7.99, and I think I calculated I had 4 meters of this. So it was tough deciding what I wanted to do with this fabric, but I decided that making a maxi skirt would be the perfect project for spring. And I just wanted to take you guys along with me to show you how easy it is for you guys to do. And I hope you guys like this video. So if you want to see how to make a tiered gathered maxi skirt, then just keep watching. This is not going to be like a full tutorial just because there's so many tutorials out there. I'm just going to kind of be taking you guys along as I remake the skirt. And I just wanted to mention the 2 measurements that you're going to need is the measurement for your hips as well as the length of the skirt that you want it to be. I want mine to be a maxi skirt, so my measurements are 94 centimeters for my hips and 100 centimeters to the ground. The tutorial that I actually followed is from Sewing with Solana, so I'm going to link that down below. If you guys want to watch her detailed tutorial, she actually has 2 videos up for this skirt. Go ahead and watch that if you want all the details, but I'm just going to be taking you guys along with me on making the skirt and just to show you guys how easy it is. And if you want to see how I make this skirt, then just keep watching. You could click the video I linked below to find the measurements that you'll need to cut out the rectangles for the skirt. If your fabric is sheer, you'll need to cut out extra for the lining. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the first tier together. And because I have a lining, because my fabric is see-through, it's a beautiful embroidered cotton, I'm going to need a lining just for the first tier, so it's not see-through there. And I just have my 2 pieces right sides together, and I'm going to take my lining, which is, I'm not really sure where it is. I thrifted this fabric. I'm going to sandwich the first tier in between the linings. Lining piece here. So we've completed that. I'm going to continue to do that with the next 2 tiers. So I've got the middle layer here, and then I have the last tier. And these ones don't have any lining on them, so I'm just going to attach them at the side seams, and then I'm going to bring them over to the ironing table and press them open and then overlock the edges. Overcast stitch is just going to help the edges not fray, similar to a zigzag stitch or an overlocker. I don't have a serger, so I use my overcast foot, and it works really great for improvising in between having a serger. Maybe this year I will like to invest in one. It's been a year of me sewing so far, and yeah, we are coming full circle here. For any of my curly hair girlies, it's super humid and like rainy out today, and my hair is already starting to revert back to its natural curls inside my house. Does anybody else struggle with that? Leave a comment down below if you've got curly hair and you know what I'm talking about. Just putting the last tier together and then we are almost done. This skirt comes together so easily, and it's such a great beginner friendly project to do. So if like you're wanting to buy a maxi skirt, why are you going to spend $60 on one when you can literally make one with a thrifted bedsheet? You can always alter this pattern to be more extravagant if you want to add some lace detailing or some lace trim or different color tiers. Like there's so much you can do, but it's honestly made up out of 3 rectangles and an elastic waistband. So this was the first project I ever did, is when I got back into sewing, and it gave me so much confidence. Let's get this last tier finished, and then we're gonna overlock everything and then put the waistband in and we're done. So it's the next day and I have attached all 3 tiers at the side seams and I've pressed the seams open. So now we're going to move on to overcasting the side seams, and we're going to switch over to our overcast foot. So this is what that looks like. Overcast foot has a little guide here that you align your fabric up with, and 2 little holes for the needle to cross over, and it just encases the raw edges, and it's made such a difference in how neat the inside of my garments are looking rather than just using a zigzag stitch. I wasn't able to use this on my first sewing machine that I had because I didn't have that setting, but the Singer Heavy Duty and most sewing machines will have an overcast setting. And I think this may come with your machine. I got mine secondhand, so I had to order this foot, but I got it for like $10 on Amazon. I like to use my stitch length at stitch length 4. You can't go too small because you will break your needle and ruin the foot, because I did that. That's what I'm going to do now on all the raw edges, and I'll show you guys how I do that. Switch our settings over to the overcast stitch. So we have all these different stitch settings, and I like to use this one. It's red and the triangles are going towards the right. And because we're using a red stitch, I'm going to switch my stitch over to S2. And that's just going to indicate that I'm using the red stitch. And check that my stitch length is at a 4. And take the raw edge of your fabric and line it up with the edge of the presser foot right here. And I like to put my needle in just to make sure it is going to go through all layers of fabric. And then we just stitch. And this will help keep everything nice and straight and so that all the stitches are even. A little hard to see because it's all in white, but you can see the little triangles are going over the raw edge there. To create the gathers, we're going to switch over to a basting stitch. Set your stitch length to the largest length it could go. For me, that's 4. When doing a basting stitch, you're not going to back stitch. You want to just create a really long stitch along the edge of the fabric so that we can later gather it and match it up to the first tier. I find doing 2 rows of basting stitches makes it a lot easier to pull the stitches and create the gathers. I'm using clips to secure everything in place, but you could use pins if you'd like. This is how it's looking so far. So next we're going to attach the 3rd tier. The 3rd tier is a lot larger than the 2nd tier, so it might get a little bit hard to match up, but just be patient and ensure that everything is nice and even before sewing it in place. Make sure everything is nice and aligned so that you're catching both layers of fabric and not creating any gaps. Now we're going to need to cut out the elastic for our waistband. So I've just got an elastic here. I don't actually know the size, but I can write it in the description. I have like a little Sharpie and some scissors that are my fabric scissors because I don't want to ruin them. And what you're going to do is just take some of it and measure it around where you want your skirt to sit. I want mine to sit high-waisted You don't want it to be too loose where it's falling down either, because the weight of the fabric will weigh it down. And cut my elastic here. I'm going to cut it right where I marked the Sharpie. And now we're going to make the elastic channel for our waistband and then thread through the elastic. To create the elastic channel, we're going to first fold in a 1/4 inch along to encase the raw edge, and then we're just going to fold that over again so that it is the length of the elastic. Just make sure there's enough room that your elastic can fit in that channel comfortably. I have this tool that I got off of Temu actually, and it's like a safety pin. It does the same thing that a safety pin would do, but it's just a little bit easier because it's a little bit bigger. You just put it on your elastic and then lock it into place, and then this will make it easier to thread your elastic through the casing, making sure it's not twisting as you're pulling it through. So now you can try it on and then you can hem it. I want mine to be really long, so I'm just gonna hem it probably just going to serge the ends and then hem it 1 centimeter. And then I'll try it on for you guys and show you how this turned out. All right, so let's talk about this super beginner friendly maxi skirt that I made. I love this skirt because it gives you so much confidence after you make it, because it looks really cute, it's super trendy, and it's really pretty easy to make. I would say like the hardest part is probably getting the elastic waistband the proper size. Even mine still feels a little bit loose, but I kind of like that I can wear it a little bit more mid-rise, low-rise, which I don't normally like on my body type, but because this isn't super tight, I feel like it is flattering. I love that I made this in an embroidered cotton this time because it's so much lighter and flowy and just like very effortless looking. It's gonna be perfect for the summer because it's very breathable. Love that you don't need a pattern for it. So if you're thinking of making your own maxi skirt, just go for it and you won't be disappointed. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this super easy beginner friendly sewing project. And let me know if there's any types of videos that you'd like for me to post or any patterns that you'd like for me to try. I do have some more things lined up and I'm super excited to get sewing on those. So thank you guys again for watching and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.